something.
And that's quite the nightmare you were living.
Yeah, because
other than the delicious donut, you really found it positive.
Well, no, I'll tell you what. I wouldn't have been happy if the girl was still there and I'm eating this donut. I wouldn't be cool with that either.
No, there was really...
I'm almost more cool with the gorilla dildo prank than I would be if I was blindfolded in front of a naked lady, eating a donut. You know what I mean? I'm more okay with the monkey one, to be perfectly honest.
That's a great outlook.
Well, it's how I feel about it now upon reflection. But yeah. Fun nights, huh? Yeah.
Man, that reminds me of like a David Lynch type scene.
Yeah.
Or film. I reckon he would have appreciated that.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
I watched Eraserhead on the weekend.
Oh, good idea. The movie you only need to watch once. You watched it.
I did, yeah. I've never seen it, so it was his first one.
It's sort of a student film almost, yeah.
Yeah? It's his first full-length film.
Did you notice who the guy was, the main character?
No, who was that?
There's a fish in the percolator.
That's not resonating with me.
He's the old man in Twin Peaks that finds Laura Palmer's body.
Oh.
He's like, the
and
rich
does he
lady.
say that line? Does he say that line that there's a...
Yeah, there was a fish in the percolator.
I got massive Twin Peaks vibes from that. From Eraserhead.
Yeah, everything Lynch does is painted with the bizarre.
Yeah, it's a surrealist horror film. It reminded me of a Salvador Dali painting, but in the film media.
So I've watched this maybe more than 10, 12, maybe 13, maybe more years ago.
I thought you said times. I thought you just told me you only need to see it once, and then you're telling me you've seen it 12 times.
And you've seen it recently. So can I just... I'll tell you what I know about it, and then you can help me along the way, because I really can't remember a hell of a lot other than there's a guy and his wife and they have a baby. Am I on track so far?
Yeah, you're on track. Yeah.
Okay, good. And there's a lady that lives in the heater.
That's right.
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's pretty much the that's the gist of it. This guy apparently...
okay, yeah, talk to me about it. Yeah.
So the film itself was based on a dream that David Lynch had, where a man's head is taken into a pencil factory and I think presumably turned into an eraser, and that's where the name Eraserhead comes from. Wow. And that scene does happen in the movie.
Interesting.
So really, from what I can tell, like you said, it's a story of this bloke who has, I don't know how he gets this lady pregnant, but they have this grossly deformed child. Kind of looks like a lizard or an alien, some kind. They're in this weird, desolate industrial landscape. It's very bleak. The whole film's in black and white.
Yep.
And it starts off with the character. His name's Henry, I think it was. Henry, he's got this cool hair. He's got this like
Kramer.
Kramer, yeah, kind of like particularly like African American old school African American basketballers do the pencil kind of hair where they shave. They have like an afro, and they shave all around the sides, and it's just it's like that. And maybe that plays into the Eraserhead sort of thing where he sort of gets taken to a pencil factory. But yeah, there's this scene, right? So firstly, he's just floating through space at the beginning, and there's these like this weird alien-like spirit thing comes out of his mouth and kind of manifests. I don't understand it. And then there's this one scene where Henry's at a family dinner with this girl or this girlfriend or whatever it is. And the whole thing's so bizarre. It is very dreamy. And they pull out this really small roast chicken.
Mm.
I don't know if you remember this, and the girlfriend's father says, yeah, cut it up. And he sticks his knife into it and just like the chicken's like wiggling firstly. All its little limbs are wiggling back and forth. And he sticks the knife into it. It's quite a delicate looking little chicken. And he's got this massive knife. And, stuff's oozing out everywhere. And then the wife or the mother of his girlfriend starts like trying to make out with him and tells Henry that her daughter's pregnant with his child. And then he has that, she goes, the next scene, they've got this lizard child and they just can't, it's just always wailing.
Mm.
They just can't seem to look after this baby, and it starts getting sicker and sicker. I didn't want to call it a baby. It's like a lizard baby.
Sure.
And then his girlfriend leaves him. He seems to be having some kind of relationship with the woman in the radiator. And then there's this scene like the Red Room in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And Henry's head pops off and the lizard comes out of his shirt, out of his neck hole.
Yeah.
And it's still just crying. I don't understand what's going on. And then the head falls out that's where the head falls into a different reality. Some kid picks it up, takes it to the pencil factory, gets made into an eraser. And then that scene was all just a dream in Henry's head somehow. And he wakes up and then he murders the baby lizard. He cuts it open, and the chest is a really confronting scene, and pus is oozing out everywhere. It's
a real great family movie.
It was pretty intense.
It's fucking intense, man.
Lynch has said that it's his most spiritual film.
Wow.
I don't know what to make of that.
That frightens me.
And people say that because
I'm a big fan of David Lynch, man. I'm a big fan of like a lot of things that he's done, and I'm not a fan of some things that he's done.
What aren't you a fan of? Anything come to mind? Because I've got all his stuff downloaded. I'm just going to work my way through it, and I've started with this one. I wasn't a huge fan of Inland Empire.
I don't know if I was in a bad mood or something, but I didn't really. I don't know, man. But it's tough because you can't say I didn't like the movie because I didn't get it, right? Because that's not a good enough reason to not like it.
Yeah, some movies just have a vibe. Like a lot of Eraserhead was just a feeling or an emotion. Like, when sometimes you look at a painting it makes you, it's like, you don't follow it all. You don't even know what most of it means. It's very symbolic.
Yeah, of course.
So the script is said to be inspired by Lynch's fear of fatherhood.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
And yeah, that actually really resonates when you're watching it, that this Henry fellow just can't, like, his life is falling apart. This baby's really ruining. Yeah.
It could be a study on lots of things like postnatal and all sorts of stuff. But it's also, if he's talking about it, it's representing his fear of it. It's sort of like, him trying to come to terms with it, I guess.
But movies like that, I'm not saying I like particularly arty movies generally, but I feel like I came away with more personal understanding after watching that. Like, I actually learnt something. Like, like it makes you think.
Yeah. Lynch will let you do that.
And it was made in 1977, so you can imagine the tech's not there, the CGI is not there. Budget
77 Star Wars. Hello.
Yeah, but the budget of this movie was $10,000.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's sort of like a Tarantino sort of thing.
Yeah, and it made $7 million in the box
So
office.
are you watching Elephant Man next? But no, you got some exciting ones coming up. I'll be keen to see what you watch next. And you never have to watch Eraserhead again, which is great.
Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again.
That's what I think. That's what I came away from it the first time I watched it. I watched it with an old ex-girlfriend, and we both just went, "Okay, don't need to do that again."
You know, if you're into rom-coms, probably wouldn't. Yeah, it's like the opposite of a rom-com. It's like the relationship
nightmare.
falls apart. Yeah, rom nightmare. But the rom is it's like a non-rom nightmare.
Yeah. It's the most un-rom nightmare ever. Is that kind of what you were looking for?
Yeah.